On May 15th, 2023, I found a Pacific Crest Trail permit that had become available after another hiker canceled. I immediately booked it. My start date was July 24th, 2023, which meant I had exactly 70 days to get ready for the 2,650-mile hike from Canada to Mexico. As I prepared for the Pacific Crest Trail, or PCT for short, I documented what I did so I could share it with you in this video. I dehydrated my own meals to take with me, did a practice hike with all of my gear, and organized my resupply. But first, let's go back to May 15th, the day I reserved my permit. I think I have a PCT permit. I found a cancellation for a date that works for me and I applied for it. And once the application went through, it just said that they need to review the application before officially saying that that is my start date. So I still need to wait on that, and that can take up to 3 weeks. Yeah, it's to start in July and to hike in a southbound direction. So I'd be starting in Washington, ending in Southern California. So I was reviewing this book because I was starting to freak out a little bit because I'm like, that's gonna put me in Southern California in November. Is that okay to hike at that time of year? And I read through this and it actually says it's an ideal time to hike, especially the lower part of the desert because it's way less hot. This has been a dream of mine for so long. At least 10 years, I would say. I'm just flipping through this and just cannot wait. Oh, it's gonna be so stunning. Everything. I like to dehydrate all of my own homemade dinners when I backpack. I have a dehydrator that I bought at Canadian Tire 8 years ago, and it's still working well. I had that thing running what felt like non-stop whenever I was at home for the last 2 months since I reserved my permit. My goal is to have a dehydrated dinner for every night I'm camping on the PCT, which I estimated would be approximately 120 nights. Ever since I booked my PCT, and anytime I'm here at the apartment, I've been dehydrating like crazy. I've been dehydrating so much food. So I feel like I've been going non-stop, but the hiccup in my PCT food plan is that I was gone for a whole month. I gotta figure out how much more I need. It's been, I think I have a week and a half until I start the trail, which is wild. And based on my plan, I think I need about 120 meals. So that's a lot of meals. I definitely don't think I have this here, but I'm gonna dump out my bags and count them today and figure out how many more meals I need to make over the next week and a half. Those are my toothpaste tablets. Okay. That's actually better than I was expecting. That is a mound. Let's start counting them. Pesto pasta. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chili. 1, 2. As I sorted through all of my meals, I realized that some were too small and some were too large. I decided I would re-vacuum seal some of them so that they would fall within the recommended range of 150 to 200 grams dry weight per meal. I found that range through my internet research. After doing this, I knew my final count would change. I like to vacuum seal my meals when I'm sending them ahead in resupply packages for myself. I think this keeps them fresher and helps decrease food scents so that animals are less tempted to nibble at them. Red Thai curry. I have a peanut stew. I also have burrito bowls. Oh, and dal. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and mac and cheese. 10. Okay, kind of bad news. I only have 55 meals, so I have less than half of what I need, and I only have a week and a half to go. I can produce about 6 meals per day. Now, there are a few meals that are absolutely huge that I honestly probably couldn't eat in one sitting. So I might re-vacuum vacuum seal those. So I'm not as far along on my food as I was hoping. I really hope that I can get a solid number more done over the next like 7-8 days. But I don't think I'm gonna have enough homemade meals for my whole hike, which is a bit disappointing. It's definitely a lot cheaper to dehydrate your own than to buy the store-bought ones, and it's a lot healthier for me because of my dietary restrictions. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit, I guess, anxious or disappointed about that, but that just means I need to double down and work as hard as I possibly can to get more meals done. These are my mashed potatoes. They've all dried like in a big block. I'm going to blend them. Okay, I've added in the lentils, and it actually is a lot of food. So there's the potatoes, and the lentil is the kind of base of the shepherd's pie. So I cooked it in the same way you would cook like ground beef. Okay, great news. I was able to take 5 of the meals Brian packed into Brian sizes into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 meals. So I have 3 more meals, which means now my total is at 58. And I've got some food to pack here. Okay, I've just packaged up my Thai red curry, and unfortunately I had made 2 that were way too small, so I ended up taking 2 and making 3. So I only have 59 meals total now. Okay, so after all of that work, I added 4 meals to my total, so I'm at 59 total, which means I still have 61 to make. Brian's home. Do you want to come here and I'll tell you how many dehydrated meals I have?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey. Looking around, what's your best guess?
80.
80?
Yeah.
59.
Nice. That's a lot.
Yes, but it means I still need to do 61.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got to really dig in. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna message my friends who I think have a dehydrator, because we're actually going up island for a few days. I'm going to do like a test hike with my friend Kayla, who, if you've been watching for a while, you will have seen her on a couple previous videos. And also we'll be there for like 4 or 5 days, so I'll have time to dehydrate there. And like at this point I just need to utilize whatever moment I have to run a dehydrator. So I'm gonna message my friends and see if I could borrow theirs. 11 days out, I'm at 59 meals and my goal is to have 120. So fingers crossed I can get it done. Time to start my final shakedown hike for the Pacific Crest Trail. I've got a 25-pound pack and see how my body feels. We're gonna climb up to a ridge. 10 days before my start date, I headed out into Strathcona Park here on Vancouver Island for a final test hike. You might have noticed that I also have a new camera, so I wanted to test out how it worked while hiking and if it was windy. I had fun practicing my shots, and hopefully I will keep improving as the PCT hike goes on. Hike's going pretty well. Beautiful. Very hot. I'm in my tent now, trying to clean off some of the dust. I guess a big gust blew a bunch of dust in here and everything is very dirty, including my camera. So I got really heat affected today. I feel like I have heat exhaustion, nausea, etc. So I'm not doing super well, but I just ate a little bit of food, drank a bunch of water, and I am feeling a tiny bit better. Good morning on Flower Ridge here in Strathcona Park. It's beautiful. I'm feeling slightly better now after that sleep, but the sun is hot again today, so I just said to Kayla, I think I need to just hike out because being exposed to the sun all day again, I don't think it's gonna go well for me. So we're just getting ready to pack up. She's gone to get water from the best water source we've been able to find, and I'm gonna start firing up the stove so that we can make coffee. So this shakedown hike didn't exactly go as I would have hoped. I did not do well in the sun and I was feeling pretty nervous at this point. But I usually struggle with my first full day in the sun every year, so I decided not to overthink it. I headed back to Victoria after this hike for my final few days before the start of the PCT. It's 11:45. We have just packed up camp and we're gonna hike out now. I'm still not feeling 100%, so we decided not to push it today and just hike down, but I mean, we still got to see so much of this beautiful place. This is the reality of my getting ready so far. I've got this huge pile of dehydrated food. I don't even know how many I got done. All my gear over here. Feeling a bit overwhelmed. So I have to sort through all this food and decide what I'm bringing for Washington and Oregon. I knew I wanted to send ahead resupply boxes for myself so that I could have my dehydrated dinners. For my first round of resupply, I sat down at my computer and created a spreadsheet using information from the PCT Trail guidebooks and the Far Out app. There were some resupply locations that also had information on their website, so I would always double check that to make sure I was following their guidelines. Once I knew how long each stretch of trail was between resupply points, then I could estimate how many days that would take me to hike, since I knew what my average hiking pace usually is. Then I just needed to count out my dehydrated dinners for each stretch. I planned to just send my resupply boxes for the Washington and Oregon sections to start, and I planned to have Brian mail me the rest of my dinners once I reached the start of California. Uh-oh. We're no space here.
I was thinking you could maybe go around the corner.
Yeah, I'll go this way. 6 days, 5 days, and then I gotta do another 5 day. 1, 2. I was leaving the next day to start making my way to the trail. I planned to bring all of my gear, which you will see in the next video, and all my dehydrated dinners for Washington and Oregon. Once across the border, I shopped for all of my snacks and sent off my resupply packages from the US. You'll see more of that process in a future video. Thank you so much for watching. Come back next week for my full gear video, and if you haven't yet, you can subscribe to my channel and join me on this epic adventure.